Welcome back to Cover Your Assets. Craig Nestor, Todd Rooker, Jason Walgrave, all in the house. And you can join us online at CYA21.com because we've got some really great events coming up. Both Craig and Todd, you have different things coming up. Todd, yours is coming up real quick. You've got a credit seminar coming up.
Yeah, well, I'll just throw it to Craig and say, Craig has got a phenomenal seminar through Washington County. We've all known for a long time that you don't necessarily get the best practitioners in the nonprofit area. That isn't to say that there aren't great practitioners, but I'll certainly say that it isn't limited to the best. We've got some of the best people who actually make money for their services. Oftentimes, the very people who need those services because of the fees and the costs are not accessible to people who may need them the most. Washington County is putting together a marriage between nonprofit and profit providers to help people who are in compromised financial positions whereby they can get the best information that is available. And it is unique to put these people together because I like to say they're typically like oil and water. So the idea that we've got them all together for the benefit of the consumer, people who have information and guidance that normally might not be accessible because of the cost will be available at this seminar. Craig, where is it and when's it going to be held? You're going to be there, right?
Speaking.
Yeah, Washington County has an event December 1st. It's going to run 8:30 in the morning to 11:30, and the details and the location, the directions are all on CYA 21. The event is really designed for people to come and have access to some very solid professionals, both profit and non-for-profit people. Even one of the things that's refreshing about Washington County is they kind of get it. As a government employee, they are limited on their resources. There's only so much capacity, and they also understand this, and it's something that we want to push up in our government, is you can't socialize this answer. Because when we speak with people, it's amazing. Jason, 100 short sales, and we can say 100 loan mods, and Todd, 300 people are in a different spot. But every one of those people has a very distinct thumbprint. It's a very specific problem, and you can't socialize the answer. And so what this seminar allows people to do is bring your specific situation in and touch all the different people that can help. And so like this room, this will be a triage around families and people that want support.
And the situations that they are in are that they might be falling behind on payments. What else?
Well, they could be falling behind on payments, or they see that there's an end of their rope coming. I mean, at some point, this just doesn't work anymore. They're trapped in 2005 lifestyle, paying for it with $2011, and they're eroding their savings or their 401k plan, or they're paying off so much of their credit card, but they're adding to another one. They can see that it's just not adding up.
Or they're trying to get a loan modification, and they endlessly are losing the paperwork at the bank, and they just can't understand why this isn't working out. And there's government programs, and it isn't working for me, and what's going on, and what are the options, and how might I tweak the barrel to make it work a little bit better for me? So it's really getting the answers that a person needs to be able to access to make decisions.
So that's December 1st. Our own Craig Nestor will be speaking there, and you can go to CYA21.com and download all the details to go to that in Washington County. And then is it the 10th, Todd, that you have one coming up?
I have a ultimate credit control seminar for the clients that I deal with. As you know, I'm often dealing with people who've never been late on a payment in their lives and now are considering things like short sales and foreclosures and bankruptcies and real horrific things that they never thought they'd be involved in. And of course, immediately they'll often say, how long will it take me to recover? The question is answered by the way that they'll be gauging themselves, whether they know it or not, which is how long until I can qualify for financing, get a car loan, a home loan. And so the answer is, how long will it really take me to rebuild my credit? Credit is the answer to the question, how long does it take me to recover? This is a strategic class on how to rebuild, recover, and manipulate a credit score to drive your score back up. Also, the information that a person will need should they consider missing a mortgage payment or already in that situation. What's the implications and impact going to be in my finances and my credit score? And then strategically, again, how do I recover and get back quickly?
And so that is when and where?
That is December 10th, and you could go to the CYA website and find that information. That's CYA21.com, and you'll be able to find that. That's the Ultimate Credit Control seminar that we'll be doing on the 10th of December.
I've seen Todd's seminar. This event's at the Mall of America, the Ramada Inn there. It's from 9 to 5. I'm consider myself an expert in this field. I know, Jason, you do too. We are working in this now. We have significant families that we've helped in results, and I sat there And within 2 hours, I was overwhelmed from Todd speaking. And I've sat next to Todd for 3 years, and I had no idea how smart this guy was. Well,
there's a compliment in there somewhere.
Well, it should be all over the place. I was actually amazed to learn that you can hurt your credit score by making a payment.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is that if you've been missing payments for a period of time, catching up on payments may not necessarily improve your credit. Settling accounts may not necessarily improve your credit. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't do those things, pay your bills, do the right thing. But more often than not, people assume that if I was 30 days late, I'll recover by making that payment up and we'll be right back in business. If they were to hear things like, well, the implication or impact on a credit score of 1 30-day late can lower your score by as much as 100 points. And if you want to make that same payment on time to overcome the impact of just 1 30-day late, you'll have to make that payment on time for the next 3 to 6 years to overcome the impact of just 1 30-day late. Now, that sounds pretty depressing and pretty overwhelming. However, there's strategies where you could actually come back in a fraction of that time if you actually understood how credit score is being manipulated. But people tend to believe that if I just make my payments on time, it's all going to be okay, and that's nonsense. I have clients who've never missed a payment in their lives. They're 65 years old. They've got $1 million in retirement funds, yet they have horribly low credit scores. And I didn't say late payments. I said low credit scores, but people think that they're one and the same. They're not.
So what are some of the things, I know you can't go through the whole thing because it's 9 to 5 on December 10th, but what are a few of the other topics besides that? Because I think that's surprising information, that it would take that long to recover from a late payment, and that you can be in the position like those folks you just described and have a low credit score.
Well, there's so much to a person's question or query of how long will it take me to recover, because you could have an 800 credit score after going through a short sale and you're not getting a loan the next day either. There's much more to it than that. There's particular items that will stop you from getting financing that are not necessarily respective of the credit score. Having said that, if you're far enough away from a short sale or a foreclosure or a missed mortgage payment, now it will be about the credit score, and you have to know about that too. So there's a lot to know, and then I'll just leave it at this by saying that credit repair, credit improvement is only valid to the extent that you're managing money properly. Because if you understand that credit scoring basically revolves around 700 scores and above versus 600 scores and below. 700 and above, you get great financing. You may not get the very best ultimate A+ financing, but you'll be in the A- or A Alt A lending category. But you go 100 points below that to a 600 score, you are in the subprime at a point where you may not be able to get a loan at all, and the interest rates could be as much as 2 to 4 points higher on a mortgage lending rate. That is catastrophic, and it takes 1 30-day late to make that happen. So if you focus on fixing a person's credit and you don't focus on the money management, if they miss one payment, one $15 minimum payment on a credit card, what took you a year to rebuild and go from a 600 to a score goes away instantly by missing that one payment. Got to focus on money management. Otherwise, credit repair is a colossal waste of time.
Well, and that's what we talk right here on Cover Your Assets. It's financial tactics for the 21st century. It is a new now. And so CYA21.com has the details on all of these seminars that we've just been talking about. Now, Jason Walgrave, our topic today, truth or consequences. We've got an interesting situation. We've got simultaneously, we have low housing prices and low interest rates. And so some people would say, well, a consequence of this market would be the loss of appreciation. But there is a pleasant truth that's on the other side of that.
Well, when you've got interest rates at historical lows, 4%, and I think actually last week FHA was at 3.75, that allows you to be in a position to, increase that lifestyle, to move up from, say, the $175,000 townhome and get into the $300,000 single-family home in a great neighborhood that's established and maybe it's on a cul-de-sac or whatever the case is, and the payment. When we talk about, what, not just the monthly payment, not the principal and interest, but what is the payment after your principal reduction, after your tax savings? And really, the difference is very little. And a lot of times people even buying up or borrowing more money, it actually costs them less per month.
So much of a difference can be made in just 1 or 2 points of an interest rate on a loan. It can make it like a couple of bedrooms difference depending on where you're buying, right?
Right. And that's when we talk about credit and how important it is, and that credit score going from, Like Todd, the example he gave was 600 to 700. I mean, that's a couple points on your mortgage. So that is, going from maybe you qualify for a $300,000 house, now you only qualify for a $190,000 house because of the credit score and because of the higher interest rate that you have now.
So describe just a little bit about making money in real estate in this new now. I mean, things are definitely strange from the media standpoint and what a lot of us are feeling. However,
the way the prices are right now and the opportunity that's out there, I think that a lot of people think that you cannot borrow money and that money is not available, and that's not the case. You can, as an investor with 20% down and good credit, you can purchase real estate. So let's say you go out and you buy a $100,000 house or townhouse or whatever the case is. You put your $20,000 down. You're going to most likely cash flow on that property right from day one. Where 2005, 2006, you had a lot of people buying for appreciation. They were making that real estate purchase because of the anticipated appreciation. Now you're buying because of cash flow that you get from day one out of the gate.
The math says to buy now.
Yes.
The math says buy now. We have low interest rates. We have the low cost of acquisition. So the math says move up, right? The math says move up. The question becomes, how do I exit where I'm at? Can I short sell this? Mm-hmm. Is there equity here? And that's why you need the team. It's probably easier to take advantage of the move up than to exit what you have.
It is. And we have a lot of clients that are choosing to move up, keep their property, and rent it out, and which is also another great option. With rental vacancy rates less than 2%, you're not going to have a hard time finding a renter.
It's a total different new now, and that's why Cover Your Assets. It's here. Financial Tactics for the 21st Century, CYA21.com. Meet the team. Check out the great upcoming seminars with Craig Nestor and Todd Rooker, and we'll be back after this.